Welcome to the Crewcast, the Crew's live podcast about video games and all things Crew. Join us and many of your favorite crew members as we review games, talk about the new Crew series, answer your questions, and much more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of the Crewcast.
Welcome to the Crewcast episode 10. Today with us we have Piper, Boz, Danny, Giz, and Sarah. So let's go ahead and get on with the gaming news.
Alright, our first topic in gaming news. Microsoft One has done a complete 180. A lot of people made the joke about the 360 being, and now this being a 180. They changed their policy after getting a lot of flack from fans and media. Originally, they were going to have the always online, 24-hour check-in, allow you to loan games with like 10 friends. You couldn't sell your games unless it was through like authorized centers and different things. Now they pretty much put the policy to basically be what it's been with the 360, PS3, PS4. What are your guys' thoughts?
Well, I think it's good that they've changed their policy, but it doesn't look good for on the company really. It feels like they've caved into peer pressure really.
Well, I think at the end of the day, the public and the consumers are the people who are going to be purchasing the items, so they should have their say on what they think if something's wrong. They should have their say.
I guess my biggest thing on this is I kind of like some of the things that they were planning on doing with the Xbox One policies. I didn't like the 24-hour check-in. I mean, it doesn't really affect most of us because we have an internet that's stable enough that a check-in's not that big a deal. But I can understand that affecting some people. But I did like the idea of the family share or friends sharing of, you could pick 10 people and share your games. And the fact that with the push towards this digital Steam-like realm, maybe we'd start seeing the prices go down. Because once we get to an all-digital, distribution service, prices are going to start to drop. I mean, Steam was kind of in its early days, hate it. I mean, when Half-Life 2 came out or whatever, and Steam, that was the only way to get it through Steam. People did not like Steam. People were upset about it. Prices were exactly the same. But you do see a lot of great deals on Steam now. Now, granted, when a new title comes out, it's still expensive. But part of that's to keep it in line with the external retailers. But I was hoping that maybe this would usher us towards Steam-like pricing on the consoles. And that's kind of what Microsoft hinted they were trying to do. Now, who knows if this was just a lot of talk from Microsoft to kind of say, well, this is what we were going to be able to get, but we're going to take our ball now and go home.
Well, it's probably still going to be there as well. I think they might end up patching some parts of that policy back in because they announced it, so they obviously had it as a feature with the Xbox One already. So they might go back to it at a later date.
Yeah, they did say that that things are subject to change down the road. But I mean, this puts them closer in line with the obviously Sony and the older policy that they had before. Was anyone not going to buy the Xbox One because of these policies, and now is on the fence, or is still sticking with the PS4, or you didn't care either way?
It didn't bother me either way.
Probably still want to get console, but I don't. I think the PS4 company handled things better.
Or E3.
Yeah.
I
Xbox
think
came off quite like vermi-dur, if you know what I mean.
I think Sony, what they did, and it's smart, but let's be honest. I'll bet you money Sony changed their plans going into E3 and at E3 after seeing all the mess that was going on with Microsoft. All right, so let's move on. Speaking of the PS3, a game that is very, very popular right now, The Last of Us for the PS3, has sold 3.4 million units in 3 weeks. Now that number has obviously gone higher since this report was about a week ago.
You know it's going to get Game of the Year, don't you?
I have started playing it. I'm not going to give any details or spoilers. The game is incredible.
I need to go.
Yeah, I've seen Let's Play.
Can I come to your house, boss, and play it?
Sure. Be cheaper probably just to buy the console and the game.
Yeah.
Not a lot cheaper probably, with the prices of some stuff, but but it's a great game. Naughty Dog continually puts out variety of style of games, but what they put out is always good quality stuff. Did like the fact that people were asked, will there be a sequel? And they were kind of like, we don't really see a sequel for this. It kind of stands on its own, which I think is sometimes a good policy instead of just continually rehashing something to where we have The Last of Us 6. Yes, they're still alive. So no one else has actually played it. Actually, you've seen some Let's Plays?
Yeah, I've seen some Let's Plays of it. It definitely looks really good.
I really want to play it. Like, so bad. I had a dream about it, didn't I?
So I think we'll eventually talk more about that game, but it's one that so many in the crew want to play, and I don't want to spoil things. I guess if any of the crew go PS4 in the future, supposedly there may be a PS4 port of it, which I think would make a lot of sense. But then again, the PS4 is supposedly going to allow you to use that online streaming mode to play PS3 titles, so it may be available that way also. So we'll see.
It's probably going to be the popularity of it. It has to be, surely.
Yeah, I mean it makes more sense for Naughty Dog because I believe on the PS4, if you're going to want to play the old PS3 titles, you have to be a Plus member, which will cost a subscription like like Xbox Live Gold. So some people may not want to do that. It may limit your availability if people have to have a good internet to be able to stream playing the game, and then also pay that quarterly or yearly or whatever monthly fee. So having an actual PS4 version would make a lot of sense for current titles, and I think we'll see that for stuff that's come out like The Last of Us and anything else going forward. That's a major title. All right, so let's move on to another one, a game that we are looking forward to playing and play a lot of the mod and mods of the mod, and that is DayZ Standalone, is rumored to have alpha this month.
What?
Awesome.
So first off, do you guys think it will actually happen? And and then in general, your thoughts on what you've seen already of the standalone, some of the stuff from other shows and things, and talks that Rockets gave. So just your feelings about the date. Will it be out this month? And then thoughts on the game in general.
It's touch and go, isn't it, with Rocket? Like, Rocket always says, like, the game will be done when it's done. So, like, if maybe it's not ready, maybe it might be another month, but maybe it'll be this month. I mean, we waited long enough, haven't we? So, you'd think he'd be trying to push it out somewhat. So, fingers crossed it comes out this month.
And remember, we're talking just the alpha. This is not like a full release. I mean, he's saying that this is alpha. So, when people get it, don't expect, all of it done. It's going to take months and months. I think it'll be sometime next year before they release a full version.
It'd be nice to finally get a kind of somewhat hand-on feel of it and see what it's evolving into.
I think with all the hype that it's received, it could turn out to be like one of the greatest zombie survival games. Because obviously we enjoyed the mod, but it could also be a grave disappointment. I mean, all I've seen from the DayZ standalone is screenshots and stuff like that, and they looked good. But saying that the screenshots from War Z looked really good, and kind of to see what that turned out as.
But we do know that War Z blatantly copied on DayZ, and Rocket has put so much effort into this game, whereas War Z just literally powered out the game in a second. We're like, this is a game, this is a game. Whereas Rocket is taking his time with the game, and he takes feedback from the community, and he's very hands-on with the community. He's always talking to people, and
true. I think
what a good game will be. And I have the best faith in him, even though the E3 thing was a little kind of it was there was good parts of it and bad parts to it, but I still have faith.
I think it definitely, like, gameplay wise, I can see it definitely standing up and looking really good with the amount of work that Rocket does. But saying that, he's not using Arma 2's like graphic engine anymore for obvious reasons, and he's not going to be using the Arma 3 one either because it's a standalone game. With that being the case, the real question is he going to make an engine that can make a game that is not just as pretty but better looking than the actual mod was?
Well, I think actually that's partially incorrect a little bit. It is the Arma 2 engine that's was modified for what was the other games? Was it a tank game?
World of Tanks or something.
I think something like that. So it's Arma 2 modified for World of Tanks, and then modified to have some Arma 3 features kind of backported into this engine. So it's still the Arma 2 engine at a core with improvements for World of Tanks and some improvements from Arma 3, but I don't think much, just a few things they could bring through. The biggest change from what I've seen here, listening to Rocket, is they're changing the server architecture. That everything is going through the server now. So hacking and cheating is going to be curbed. It's never going to be gotten rid of, but it's going to be curbed more because the clients aren't going to be as trusted. This, I have a fear, could definitely make the game more laggy because of your internet, and the more people on a server, and they're talking about like zombies spawning like when the server starts, and then when you can actually clear towns. But I think it has the potential to be more, CPU hungry on the server side than it was before. But everybody else, what are your thoughts though? I mean, are you not looking forward to it? Looking forward to it? Scared? Any other comments? Danny, Piper, Sarah?
Completely looking forward to it. Wait to play it. And the screenshots are looking really good, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Hopefully
looking
this
forward
month,
to it.
fingers crossed.
Myself, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I think Rocket is the honest type of guy you hope does well. I mean, he's a likable guy. He's straightforward with the community. Sometimes maybe a little too honest. Um, but I mean, I think he's a guy you want to see succeed. I'm a little worried. It's taken a long time, and part of that was when he first started working on it for his, company that he was, I think, consulting for, whatever, Bohemia, the people who make Arma. And now he works, I guess full time on this. It was going to still just be the mod, prettied up and glitches fixed, zombie pathfinding, inventory. They finally decided that's not the right choice. We're going to basically start with the engine from World of Tanks or whatever and go ground up and try to really do it right. I think that's a great idea, but that took a long time, which upset people. People were expecting to play this at the end of last year, beginning of this year. Now we're in July, and we're halfway through that, and we still don't have it, and we're only looking at alpha. So I'm a little worried. Plus, all this time, you're seeing other games that are jumping on the bandwagon. A lot of people are really getting into Rust by the Gary's Mod guys. That's getting a lot more play time now on a lot of the YouTube and streamers. So I'm worried that maybe somebody's going to come out and do it good and do it better and quicker. But
Yeah.
I still think that if he can get the alpha out now, here in the next month or so, and it actually has a decent inventory system, zombies are a threat, but not this like I zigzag at weird patterns and make no sense, and you'll never hit me because I don't make sense.
God, that's annoying. Like
Just
swinging your axe or shooting.
Just those two things, I think, will make it so much better. But I mean, the whole thing that scares me a lot is it really when you play Arma or DayZ Standalone or any game like this, it's really about at a core, obviously, if it's a decent game, but the people you play with and the people you meet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And you hear a lot of people saying that these games are really a great idea, but how do you really get the balance? Because if you make zombies a real threat, people get upset. If you make zombies too weak, people get upset. You meet people, all they do is shoot on sight. That makes people upset. If you try to take away the aspect of banditry, people get upset. you can't please everyone, but what's that happy middle ground that that really makes the players happy in mass? I don't think there is one because some people just like to kill, some people want to play solo, some people want to play co-op and just go up against zombies. And I think it's tough to figure out how to do that and have it work for everybody.
I think the way a game is supposed to be played is always, dependent on the player itself. And if you get like a server where there is so many players on a server, it's impossible to have like a set ground rule of like how you're supposed to play.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
the interaction with players, and you see that on so many videos and live streams, and the things that happen, like when we got kidnapped, when we stole a
God.
bus.
Whistle guy.
Those are all the things that to me make the game more fun than other types of games. Meeting people and just, what happens. I know Giz likes to take the approach, we should be friendly, and I'm more of a like, I don't trust anybody.
But there are friendly players out there.
Yeah.
There are a lot of bandits as well.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's going to be interesting to see. Can they do anything for that balance? Can they do anything to make the zombies interesting more than a nuisance? And then, can you give people a reason to want to be a hero in the game versus be abandoned? And how do you manage humanity in a game like this? Those things interest me more than when Rocket talks about entering, like worrying about disease or going bathroom, or I've heard talk about vomiting, which I think was more of a joke.
I hope so.
But
it's a joke, not that he's going to put that in.
I find the whole like DayZ when you get sick, an infection from like, eating rotten meat more of a nuisance. And I don't want to have to worry about getting dysentery while playing this game. I don't mind that, you get infected by a zombie when it hits you, under certain circumstances, but some of the stuff worries me more about. Let's just worry about zombies, players, humanity. How do we handle being good, being bad? So I think it's going to be really cool. He's done some interesting things. I mean, did you see where he had posted, I think on Reddit, that they were looking for people to submit their radio stations like to them because they were going to actually have people who have like streaming music channels. It has to be legal stuff. It can't be like copyright music. But they want people, I'm assuming, to be able to, like, say Giz could have a channel. He could be like, this is, 102 The Giz here playing. Be careful out there in the zombie apocalypse. Zombies. I've received reports that Belota's overrun with zombies. So stay careful out there, people. And then plays a song. They're going to actually put these channels into the game on the radio.
That's cool.
That is cool.
And it's not like pre-recorded stuff. They want people who are actually going to continually, I guess, stream stuff. And you can kind of adjust maybe what you're streaming based on what happens in that world on that server.
That's pretty cool.
So that would be interesting. Seems a little ambitious, but would be interesting.
Yeah. But like, if you think about it, maybe like in the aftermath of the zombie apocalypse, like what happens? Like if you get radios and stuff, if radio towers are still working, then like maybe some people would have a radio station. I kind of think of Fallout. Like in Fallout, there are like radio stations and stuff. So
yeah, so I think it's going to be great if it can come out. A lot of the streamers have all started saying that they're kind of stopping streaming and making videos of DayZ because they're waiting. Because they've kind of been told that alpha's close to coming, and they're tired of, like, I don't think hardly anyone streams or plays the original mod anymore. It seems like right now the most two popular things are Day Zero, which we did a recording on, and DayZ Overwatch, which I want to do a recording on just because it looks like Breaking Point, which is called Breaking Point because of how bad it is, but with a lot of fixes. So let's move on to our last news segment, and that is the alpha of Cube World is out there, and you can now purchase the game.
Yay!
finally,
Yay!
So we are definitely going to be playing this game, and hopefully maybe even as soon as maybe doing a recording session tomorrow, but we'll see. So your guys' thoughts on Cube World?
I've been looking forward to this game for a while. Ever since it was first announced, like last year. So I'm really quite excited.
Anyone not interested in Cube World or just like,
I'm kind of indifferent about Cube World, but that's only because I haven't really read up enough about it, so I don't really know what the game's really about just yet. So like, I'll have an actual opinion once I've like watched some like gameplay of it and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I have heard some people say that the server mode is a little bit buggy right now and expect a lot of crashes. And that would be bad if that's what happens, because, I mean, obviously that's the way we're probably going to do most of our play of this. I mean, but it looks, for those who don't know, it looks pretty much like take a Minecraft world and toss in, maybe Legend of Zelda or something, or an RPG world. Not an MMO RPG, although maybe they'll try that at some point. But it looks like you can go from different towns to towns. There'll be quests. There's monsters. It's not as much about building as it is exploring and fighting. So it looks very interesting. But I have not played it. I have it. I don't know if some of the crew have it, but most of us I think have avoided playing it. So we're waiting to get everybody together, and hopefully that can happen maybe this weekend.
Yeah, it's a shame that that guy's servers are getting like what's the word, like DDoS or something or whatever.
Yeah, denial of service.
Yeah, it's like whoever's doing it is really not cool. Come on.
What's the amount of people are trying to buy the game, I think.
Yeah. I was getting copies yesterday, and then couldn't get any more, and then today I got a few more. Then my credit card company denied one, so I had to call them and say, "Quit trying to be nice and prevent fraud. This is not fraud. Let me purchase." And I bet at this point, now when I check again, it's probably offline.
Yeah, I was about to check.
So, but it looks really cool. I mean, it looks. I mean, the guy's been relatively quiet about it. I mean, it just really. I think a couple weeks ago, people started streaming it. Some early big channels got early access. A lot of people are excited about it. I mean, we'll see how it holds up. Could it be another like Terraria, a game that's relatively popular, but nothing like Minecraft? I know I've heard some people say, "Oh, this is going to be bigger than Minecraft." I
I
doubt
don't.
that.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be bigger than Minecraft. Minecraft has a sense of DayZ where it's completely like open. You can do what you want really. I think this is more. It's definitely very open, but the whole fighting and stuff has a more grounded aspect to it.
Yeah.
Whereas with Minecraft, it's totally open. You can do whatever you like.
But you can definitely look forward to seeing us do some videos of it, and if you guys like it, and unless we totally hate the game, which I doubt we'll hate it, I'm sure we'll like it. You'll probably see more than a few videos, but we'll I've watched no videos of people playing it. I mean, because I kind of want to experience it ourselves. So we'll see what becomes of it when we start doing it. So now we're going to talk about some crew news, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put Danny on the spot to talk about the beautiful Moonvale test server and where we stand on that, and maybe moving forward to the second test server.
So at the moment we have just about finished building the next test server. All we need to do really is a few more builds and then implement the actual RPG-ish stuff to it, and that's where we are at the moment. It should be done pretty soon.
Are you guys testing the new test version on 6.2, or are you still using 5.2?
We're still on 5.2 at the moment, but I think Swippin's looking to update the some of the plugins to work on 1.6.
All right, so the other subject, and I guess I'll talk about this one briefly, although there's not a lot of time left. Our old server host sucks. They got bought out and they moved to a new location to where the new company is, and that server really, we had it running for a year and it was great. Chaos and all the other stuff, all the crew recordings, the Mumble for fans, the Mumble for us, all running on that. We were all happy. Things were good. Then the sale occurred, and that company really, in my opinion, went into the toilet. So I've canceled them, and we've moved to a much better host with a much bigger server. It's costing us a little bit more, but you guys are worth it. But we still have like another week or two left on the old one. So what I did is I set up a 1.6.2 vanilla server called it the Badlands, turned it on, said, hey, the server may not be up all the time. It may be glitchy, it may be laggy. Not much I can do about it. But, hey, the server's still paid for another week or two. So the Badlands is on there. It's PvP. The only rules are just, don't get on there and cuss or use hate speech or anything like that. But killing each other is fine. Stealing people's stuff, fine. If you blow up their house, if you burn their house, fine. Don't come complaining. But if you like that kind of open world with no rules, go ahead with 162 and go on it. We'll put a link in the description of this video to that server plus all of our other crew servers. All right, so Piper, do you want to describe the Wasteland event that's going to be having signups occur here probably on Sunday?
Yeah, okay. On August the 10th, Saturday, we will be having a Armor Wasteland event. On this Sunday, we will release a video telling you about how to sign up for it.
So this is going to be kind of like the Come Kill the Crew event that we had before, where we got on and spent a couple hours setting up a base, and then we allowed you guys to come on and try to kill us and take our base. We're going to do the same thing, but this time you guys get to set the base up. So we're going to take signups. The crew and friends of the crew will be the attackers, and of course you guys will be who sign up, and we're going to have to probably pick, because we'll probably have more people sign up than can play, but we want to make sure we get people who are actually going to do this. Because you'll need a lot of time. So on that Saturday, you guys will probably have 3 or 4 hours to build your base, get set up. I will log in at some point during that. We'll have one person who's your captain, who kind of is going to lead your thing. But I'll come to your guys' location, because it's not going to be a secret. We never made our location a secret, especially because we were live streaming when we did it. But I'll come to your location, and I'm going to give you a satellite dish thing. It's called a beacon. You'll put that beacon down somewhere in your base area, and that will let you spawn on it. So when we kill you, you can spawn at that location, or if you get killed by whatever other means. Our goal is going to be to get to your base, kill you, get to that beacon, and destroy the beacon. And we will only destroy it by dismantling it in person. We're not going to fly choppers into your base and try to blow up the building and take out the beacon. No suicide runs. We're going to actually try to get there, have a player run up to the beacon, and then you scroll your mouse and you say, like, dismantle beacon or something like that. And it takes about 2-3 minutes to do. So while doing that, we have to protect whoever's doing that. So it'll give, in a sense, it capture the flag. It's like just destroy the beacon to it. If we can get to your base and destroy the beacon, we win. If you can hold us off to the point where we go, we're too tired, we give up, you win, then you guys win. Should be a lot of fun. We'll have a sign-up form. It'll have a lot of the information on kind of the requirements to be able to play in this. Not everybody's going to be able to play because it would just be crazy. But we're going to try to make sure we pick people who will actually show up and not play like for a couple hours and say, oh, Mom said I got to go, mow the yard, or I got to go out, go to bed. Can't play, sorry. We want people who are going to actually be able to commit, because this is an actual long, long event.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other one was so fun when we bought that massive base.
It was brilliant.
There was some awesome parts of it. Like when I ran around the side of the base just constantly shooting people, that was amazing.
Yeah, so it'll be a lot of fun. We hope that the people who play really put a lot of effort into it. You guys work as a group together. Mumble will be a requirement. If you don't have Mumble, it's free, but if you refuse to use Mumble, then you won't be able to play, because you have to communicate with your team. We will not live stream it. We are going to record it, because we found out that it's just too hard to get the other team to not watch the live stream, or at least listen to it, and then you'll know what we're up to. So we are going to record it for the YouTube channel, but we're not going to live stream it. All right, so now we're going to move on to our main segment. And this one probably won't be as long as maybe our news segments. But we wanted to just talk PC versus console. People, do you guys have a preference? Do you hate one versus the other? Benefits, negatives, are you a console guy, a gal, or are you a PC guy or gal, and why? So let's start off, and let's go to Sarah, because she's staring at me and has been relatively quiet.
I personally like both PC and console, but I think at the moment I'm more PC than I am console.
And Jake is definitely not a fan of either.
Yeah.
What about you, Extra?
Well, I was a console gamer until about 2-3 years ago. Like mainly, I used to play only console games. Mainly because I was too afraid to actually try building a computer myself. But I played the original Age of Empires, and like that was probably my first PC game. But console is definitely the easier one to like get into. But without a doubt, as far as money and what would be like a better choice as far as budgeting would go, then PC is definitely the way to go. So I'm much more of a PC gamer than I am a console gamer now. But I did go from console to PC.
Okay, Danny.
I'm the same as Extra. I was console for a long time and then switched to PC not long ago, and I love the PC, especially when you can crank up all the settings and see a game how it's supposed to be seen, like how the developers have wanted it to be seen. I'm a PC gamer all the way now.
Except
I
when
don't
Halo
hate the
comes
console.
out.
Yeah, I don't hate consoles.
But what happens if Call of Duty comes out? Will you play it on the PC now, or will you play it, the next Call of Duty, or will you play it on a console?
I might go PC for the next Call of Duty, just because it's more accurate with a mouse and keyboard, I feel, than it is with thumbsticks and triggers.
Okay. Gizmo.
I'm definitely both. Although I don't have a working like last gen console at the minute. I've got a PS2, got a broken Xbox. Like I used to play like a PlayStation. I got a PlayStation when I think I was like 7, I think. And I got an N64, and I used to play those all the time. And I got a PS2. But I still did play on the PC. Like Extra said, Age of Empires. I played Age of Empires 2. Urban Chaos. One of my uncles got me into that. So I played a lot of both. I prefer consoles to the point of they're sometimes maybe easier just to put in a game and just play it. Sometimes PC can be a little bit confusing, but I do love on the PC the mods that people can come up with for some games. Like if you watch some videos and stuff, like say like Skyrim and stuff, some of the mods on that, like GTA 4, some of the mods on that on PC just are hilarious. Like you can be like Woody from Toy Story running around. It's just hilarious. And I think, like Danny says as well, the PC and specs and stuff that you can, if you have a decent enough computer, which I don't, but I can see if you do have one, then you can boost all the stuff up and be really, really good to play on. So I like both. I think both have the positives and negatives, but I'm talking about positives.
Piper?
PC. I've always been a PC gamer because I've never had the money to get a console, and like my family got a PlayStation when I was younger, and my dad has he got a PS2 and then a PS3, but he's never been Xbox, so we've always been a PS family. But yeah, he doesn't play on it often, so I don't. I think I get my gaming from my dad. Um, So I've never really gone the console way because we never really played on it that much. But yeah, definitely
So
PC.
the PS2, PS3, you have them, but you really never play games on them.
Yeah, I moved out the house, so I never really got to play on them. I went to uni and didn't play on the PS2 or the PS3, so I didn't have them at uni. But the PlayStation I did.
Okay. Well, for me, I mean, I started out, it's kind of similar to you guys, but a different generation. I mean, I started playing console games first, but this was the Atari 2600, which was really the first console. So it was the first gen ever console. So I played that. But then I started getting into the 8-bit computers, and I did not play any NES, SNES. I mean, I didn't touch any other consoles really until we started hitting the PlayStation and the Dreamcast. And then I started, playing them somewhat. But I always preferred the computer. I think the computer is just more cutting edge because the computers are always evolving, whereas with consoles you have to wait until another console comes out. So I've always preferred the PC. But consoles really have a big bonus to them is that you can get a console generally cheaper than a PC, unless you get like you're an early adopter. And at least when you have that 360 or that PS3, every game that comes out for it, you can play. You buy a PC, like Danny just bought a PC. If Danny has that same PC a year from now, there's going to be games come out that Danny's not going to be able to play to their full effect because his computer is a year old and it's probably not going to be able to handle high or ultra on newer games because PCs are always evolving. So it's nice that a console, if the game's for that console, you're going to get the experience that someone else who has that console gets, short of maybe like somebody playing it on an older TV versus a high def screen. But I mean, it's the consoles themselves are identical, and that's like what Gizmo's saying too. They're much simpler. Pop the CD in, boom, go. PCs can be much more inherently complex with like how many times when we've done streams, I crashed.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what game
Yeah.
we're playing. This crashed, that crashed. And I'm not talking internet. I'm just talking about, computer, Windows, drivers. Even for the Mac users who are playing on Macs with games that support the Mac, like Minecraft or, say, Killing Floor. You do inherently have problems. I mean, and you can have Red Ring of Death with 360s and, PS3s, whatever their crash method is, if it's a black screen or whatever. You can have problems, but they're much easier. And for families with kids, a lot of times the kids are all console gamers initially because you can buy a console, let the kid play it. It's kind of a safer environment unless you're buying like adult games for them. But I mean, if you buy your kid a Wii or an Xbox or a PS3 and you buy the games for them, those are the games they're going to be playing. Maybe online play if you let them play. There's some chances of issues there, but with a lot of parents don't want to put their young kid in front of a computer because of what they could go towards. Nefarious sites, adult entertainment type sites, anything of that nature. So a lot of, and it's just, it's more economical. A lot of people say I have a console because, they're cheaper and my parents can't afford a computer. So it varies. I think they all have their pluses and minuses. But I'm a PC guy at heart. All right, so that's it for all of the major segments. Real quickly, we're going to run through our deals of the week, and we're going to make this one really basic. Right now, the Steam sale is in full force.
Woo!
So there will be no specific deal of the week. Just go to Steam.
All of them.
There are so many games right now that are so cheap. You're seeing games anywhere from like maybe 20 or 30% off to 80% off. Always make sure if you're looking for a game that it goes on as a daily deal because that's generally when the prices are the best. There are some things that are like, say, 20, 30% now that may go on a daily deal and be 50, 60, 75, 80% off. So you can get stuff really cheap. I think Danny on day one picked up Bioshock Infinite.
Yep.
And he can't play it.
Yeah.
You can't play it.
Doesn't work for some reason.
Oh
I think I picked up the sniper game today. That was like $3 or $4 for the sniper game. It's really well-liked game, but it's in multiplayer, but it's like super cheap. I think Fez is on sale today.
Yes, it is. Yep.
So lots of great stuff. The sale goes on till some date that I have no idea on, that maybe somebody else is better than me can see.
Walking Dead is on sale as well. Get it?
I think it lasts for like 12 days, maybe, the sale.
I think
Something like that, yeah. I have the 20th in my head, and I'm not sure why. 20th or 22nd of July.
So, I mean, if you got Steam, Steam's free. Check it out. Definitely the deal of the couple weeks here. So we're going to now go into the questions for the crew. We're going to have 3 questions. All right, so the first question comes from the Mind's Wonder. And he or she, I'm assuming he, wants to know, Do the available crew get to share ideas when planning for the different series you guys do and suggest certain details, or does everything come from Bellboss? I'll let people maybe talk about how this affects them directly, but I mean, I come up with some ideas, but I definitely am open to anyone having suggestions, and people have had suggestions, be it for things we've done as a group or maybe things that they've done on their own. So if you guys want to chime in on this.
Yeah, I think the majority of stuff comes from Bellbuzz's wonderful brain. Like the, block that copy and oh my god, my mind's on blank. The one with
Diamond
the bedrock.
Pyramid.
Diamond Pyramid, the bedrock thing where we got to drop the boom.
TNT.
Okay. Yeah.
Escape thing.
You're very good at his little mini games.
Well, I mean, we all have different things. I mean,
The mole.
Yeah, I mean, I'd come up with the mole, Darkness Falls, and some of these things. Although I think the Diamond Pyramid was actually me and Wolf, so I don't want to take full credit for that one. But I mean, like Piper and Alicia came to me about the sisters. That was their idea. Giz has had some things that he wants to do besides say
Game of Craft.
Yeah, Game of Craft he created, but besides just like Don't Starve, which he's kind of doing a single player Let's Play on. He's had some other things that maybe he's working on that aren't finished either that I don't want to talk about. But he's had ideas. Extra has done the game dev thing, and of course Mario created his Quests of Madness series. That was all him. So I mean, it's definitely not a dictatorship. I'm always open to ideas. Crew have had other ideas, and also when we start things, people give feedback to enhance or make the other things better. So, we all contribute to it. It just depends really like, what it might be. I mean, a lot of times we try to explain this is an idea created by blah or whatever. We try to, give credit where credit's due on things. And a lot of times these are the questions we get asked during live streams, like who created this or what's your favorite this, blah, blah, blah. Which leads to our next question from James KN, or Jameskin, we'll say, because I like saying Jameskin. What is your favorite Crew video ever? So we'll go around the room. This time I'm going to start with Piper.
Minecraft Sisters episode 1. I love it when the bit where Lizzie's like, no boys allowed.
Oh, God.
It's just, it's my little baby, and I love Minecraft Sisters, so yeah, I'm going to go with that one.
Okay, Giz?
I'm going to counter that. I'm going to say the Minecraft Brothers special episode. And that needs more views, so if you haven't seen that yet, go and have a look at it.
It's really funny.
I put a lot of
Shockingly
editing
funny.
work into that one. That's probably the one episode that I put like so much editing work into. I think the idea behind it, we were waiting so long for it, and it was the build-up of the April the 1st prank, and it was like, we have to do this. And unfortunately, I think Boz was not very well during that recording time when we did it, so he wasn't involved in it, and I was so upset, but we did it for him, and it turned out so good, and I think, I'm not going to spoil what happens in it, but you guys have to just go watch it, and I think it came out really good, and I was really, really happy.
It was really good.
And just the reaction, Piper.
I didn't know. The sisters had no idea that was happening. We all saw it go up on the channel the same as everybody else. We're like, what? What's going on? They didn't.
But apart from that, I would say like the Mole series and stuff.
Yeah.
Probably Mole episode 1, season 1. Just the excitement of watching it back.
Yeah. Danny?
I'd say the last Christmas special video.
Ooh.
Just because of the amount of time and effort that we put into making it. It was quite fun to do.
Okay. Extra?
I think if I was to pick one, I'd probably go with the video where we attempted to do the Yog Olympics. Mainly because I think there was so many funny moments to put into one video that we basically could have had a highlight video from that video alone, considering how much stuff actually happened. So I'd definitely say that was one of my favourites.
Didn't that win the top moment last year?
It was the official lighting of Sarah.
Yeah.
If we ever do another sporting event and there is a fire to start it, we have to make sure Sarah is inside that.
Yeah.
All right, Sarah, what about you?
I'd have to say that my favourite episode is also the first episode of Minecraft Sisters, because it was really exciting getting to know that it was just going to be our server where it was just girls only and all the ideas we had. But I personally love all of our videos.
Nice save at the end there. Okay, now for me, I mean, it's tough. I mean, we do so many series that I really just, when we do them, I'm like, I really like it. Um, so I mean, like Mole, Darkness Falls, Don't Stop, which honestly I didn't think would ever be that popular. To see the reaction the fans get. So I mean, I love all those, but probably for me, my favorite, it's going to be kind of similar to Danny but different, was the first Christmas special. Not because it was like a beautiful, technically well edited video. I mean, it was, some of the filming I did was horrible. So, but that one felt like the first one when we released it. It was like, thank you to the community, and that the crew is its own, in a sense, like in a family in itself. But it was like
Yeah.
the first thing we kind of worked as a group together is like a thank you to everybody, and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all that. But for me, I think it might be that one.
It does give me a nice warm fuzzy feeling, that one.
Yeah, I watched it every last Christmas. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's pushed us now to kind of try to do holiday themed stuff, and I enjoy when we do those. So the other Christmas special was great, The Raven, all those things. I enjoy when we do the movie trailers and things. We have so many things we'd love to do, just not the time to do them.
Yeah.
Honestly, what we need to be able to do is we need like 10 million subscribers, so that we can make Yogcast money and we can build a big like crew mansion in the real world and actually like focus just on making videos. Then we could do so much more. But I mean, it's just so hard. I mean, we've got people spread out all over the place. Everybody has their lives, has jobs, in some cases, and other family responsibilities. It's really, really tough to dedicate a ton of time to do all the stuff we want to do. So it's tough. So it's hard to pick one favorite. But let's move on to our last question. And this is from XXX DeBlob XXX. And he asks, because it has to be a guy. No girl, I think, would call herself DeBlob. What do you think about movie continuations from new companies, like the new Star Wars trilogy, 7, 8, and 9, not being made by Lucasfilm, but by Disney? What do you guys think? This came up on our live stream last night.
Yeah. I think Disney is a pretty good company. I mean, look what the kind of movies they've put out. They've always been pretty good. I mean, some have been fantastic, really. I mean, like you said last night, was anything really beats George Lucas, really.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, when the original Star Wars came out, I mean, I was a kid, so I mean, for me, it was groundbreaking. I mean, special effects were amazing, and I was a kid, so the story was like beautiful. I loved it. It's a little corny when you watch it back, but I think the first, three movies that aired, 4, 5, and 6, hold up well. But it's got some moments. But I mean, let's be honest. George Lucas is not, a prolific writer. He cannot. I mean, the dialogue that
God,
happens
yeah,
in the first three, that
the romance.
Menace and all that, and forward, is horrible. I mean, I want to like stab myself and kill myself listening to Anakin talk to Padme. And just, the horrible acting, that goes through some of the characters in those. You'll hear some people say, "Oh, Disney's going to commercialize it too much." It's like, hello.
What? Yeah,
Star
that's
Wars is like super commercialized. George Lucas, throws his table scraps at people and they eat it. I mean, how many times has he remastered Star Wars? Look, now it's on, on Laserdisc. Look, now it's remastered with hand not shooting first. Look, now we put hand back in shooting out, which I don't know if they did that, but I mean, they continually remaster and have special editions. It's insane. I mean, it's so commercialized. So yeah, Disney's going to have all kinds of toys. There's going to be cartoons. There's going to be, you know, new Star Wars lunchboxes, but there's always that kind of
Yeah,
stuff
there's always
for
that
everything.
stuff.
Even if
Always
it's
around.
Transformers or whatever it might be. That's, it doesn't matter. It's going to be commercialized. But Disney seems to put more emphasis on the writing and stories for their stuff, that I think that's what Star Wars needs. So if you got a good story and you hire good actors, it'll work. If George Lucas has wrote it and said, this is what you have to do, if you're going to, when I sell you the company, you have to do these next 3 movies the way I wrote them, they're going to suck.
Do you think they're going to bring the original cast back, though?
I think you'll see Princess Leia, Han, Luke. I mean, definitely you're going to see Luke and Princess Leia, because I don't think either of them are really the stars that Harrison Ford is. Harrison Ford might backtrack on it, but I think you'll see all of them, because it sounds like the stories might revolve around their kids.
Yeah.
But I hope that they're not kids. I mean, they always say never work with children and animals when you're an actor. So hopefully, we're in the teenager or older age. And please don't do like all the other movies where you have to have the teenager who has all the angst towards his parents, and you're not my boss, and it's just like constantly fighting with them. It's like, oh, I want to see Han and Leia have like kids that are master Jedis, in training, and they're trying to learn the ways of the Force and become Jedi. And then there's some big uber bad kick butt evil dude that's showed up that wants to destroy them all, and those kids are thrust into fighting maybe sooner than they're ready. I know a little bit more than I can say because I've read quite a bit of Star Wars
I know
books.
some of the lore of it.
Because I was such a fan, and I've heard that it's going to be based off of some stuff that I've read. So I'm saying things that aren't necessarily what's going to happen, but I'm trying to avoid being anywhere possibly close to maybe what they might do.
Isn't there a really derpy rabbit or something though that showed up at one point?
I don't know about a derpy rabbit, but
I think it's like a comic or something where it's this like rabbit, like a walking, talking rabbit thing appear. I don't know. It's really weird.
So I mean,
I
don't think it's a bad thing that Disney has it. I mean, I think I've always said that it's just they can't do worse, because I think George Lucas had something that was really good, and arguably the best Star Wars movie is the second one, in my opinion. And he actually had a writer help him with that one, for the screenplay and all that. And I think that was the better of the two. But then again, I kind of liked the second one because it was a little bit more dark. It wasn't necessarily the happy ending that movies always end in. So that was a plus for me too. So maybe that's why I'm a little jaded. But I think most Star Wars fans, if asked to pick the first original 3 films, pick the second one as the better one of the 3. Now the person who should have been here is Sarah's dad, because he could tell us maybe how he thinks that Disney's going to ruin it or something. But maybe is your dad like right there next to you? Like if Disney to him is a thumbs up or down? If he's right there, ask him, Disney taking over Star Wars, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Sadly, he isn't around at the moment.
Has the subject ever came up?
I think he thinks it's a thumbs up because he wants to see what Disney can do with Star Wars.
All right. Well, with that, I think we've wrapped up probably maybe our longest edition. So I may have a lot of editing ahead of me to try to keep this around an hour.
Just put the whole thing out. Put the whole thing out.
Some of this may get cut. So
they're going to complain anyway. They're going to complain.
But anyway, let us all say goodbye as we head out from episode 10.
Bye.
Cheerio.
Bye.
Thanks for watching the Crewcast. We hope you tune in again next time. Compass.